I've been going through the material on school,
Mm-hmm.
and I printed out this increase your revenue while working half the time. And so I got started on it.
Oh,
And you have so much information available, and that makes me excited. And also, I went ahead, took a leap of faith, and I'm doing a workshop on Monday night at 6.
yay!
And it's for widows and others who have lost a loved one. And it's I need to get my flyer. But anyway, it's about getting through the holidays, the heartaches of the holidays.
Oh, I
And
love it.
one of the churches that I partner with, they
Mm-hmm.
put it in their newsletter today,
Mm-hmm.
and they have probably a couple of thousand people that their newsletter goes out to, and it
Mm-hmm.
has the link to register. And so I have also heard from a friend who has a friend up in Virginia who just lost her husband, and she's going to register. And I'm going to get the rest of the information out today. And I know it's last minute, but I just feel so good about it because it doesn't,
Yay!
I didn't want to put it off again. And I'm so pleased with myself because I have bronchitis now, but I'm just forging ahead, girl.
Yay! I love what happens when people move because Dr. Palm, sometimes we're in our heads and we're making problems that don't exist, and it just gets tiring because we are imagining things that don't even exist to be problems. So, yeah,
That's me. I live in my head.
I'm so excited for you. Did you meet Nicole? I see she's jumped on. Did you guys meet already?
We're going to meet up when I have after my surgery. I'm having surgery on Wednesday, and
Mm-hmm.
after that, we decided we would meet up. But we
It's
have um, emailed
she's
each other. Yeah,
Nicole,
we made
welcome to
it.
this one. I'm having a chat with Dr. Pam. We're excited to have you in the background.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Hey, I was eating. Hi. I'm gonna go
Hi.
back on gonna go
I,
back on
I have
no
my
camera so I can eat.
I have my lunch here, but I'm just gonna eat. I hope y'all don't mind. I'm
No,
just
no,
gonna
it's
be.
fun. It's fun. The reason I wanted you two to connect is because I know you're very good at gathering the people, and Nicole is like really very good at the other stuff that you may not be so good at. And so I was just wondering what the two of you could come up with.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, like I was just wondering because she's very good at gathering people. Her neighbors have, I don't know, she has a whole group of people that need this kind of help, and her struggle is in converting them. She can fill the room okay, but the conversion is the problem.
Mhm.
And
Are you
so,
referring to me?
no, no, Dr. Palm.
Me.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, that kind of sounds okay. I was just making sure because I was like, because we
Yeah.
talked about some parts of
Mm.
conversion, but it's different. Okay. Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah, her problem is like how to get people maybe into a conversation and converse them. And I feel like you're very
Mm.
good at that. And so I am not so clear what could happen between the two of you. But what I know is she has the audience, but she's not monetizing them.
Right.
Okay. So that's your challenge, Dr. Pamela?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I did
Yes, I
not
would
know what
love for
will
us to
happen.
brainstorm.
Right. Where are
Okay.
you, Nicole?
Hmm?
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Atlanta. I'm
Oh,
currently in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm in the process of packing up though. I'm moving back to LA. So I'm here for another December, January, February, another 3 months, 4 months.
that's my favorite city in the United States. I
Really?
used to
Where are
live
you?
there. I'm in Florida, Palm Coast, Florida,
Oh,
near
okay.
Daytona Beach.
Yep. I know
But I
all
went,
about Florida. I went to Florida State. My dad moved outside of Jacksonville, so I know Florida well. A lot of,
okay.
yep. So
And
beautiful.
I graduated from Spelman many years ago,
Okay.
and I stayed there 11 years after I
Okay.
graduated, and then I came back to Florida. So, yeah, this is
Awesome.
good.
Yay. Look at
Thank
this
you,
divine
Prima.
alignment that we're the ones on the call.
Yeah.
We were trying to coordinate our schedules and look what happened. We are here.
Yes.
Whoever is
Yes.
meant to be on these calls ends up on the calls and everyone gets what they're meant to get. So I am
Yeah.
just honored for whoever shows up and whatever can happen for them, really. I never have an agenda, at least not until there's more than maybe more people than I can support in one call. And so I like to just keep an open mind and kind of see, is there anyone that needs some form of clarity, some form of support? My head is in thinking website landing pages today, but you're welcome to just come in with wherever you're at and whatever is not adding up, and we can jam on it. I have up to the end of the hour. Otherwise I'm good. I'm all yours.
Well, your diagram that you have with heaven at the top,
Mhm.
I can't ever remember the middle. What's the
The,
middle? The bottom is
the,
hell.
the middle is the necessary evil. So there is things you really love to do. They excite you, you would die to do them every day. And there's things you think you have to do. And there's
Mm-hmm.
things you do that you hate. And so
Mm-hmm.
we wake up every day and we do everything because it's work. It's things we can do them. People love doing. But in
Mm-hmm.
doing, they do, and they end up working in their business all day, all night. And they feel exhausted, they feel tired, they feel like things are not adding up, and they're like, what's not happening? And so, really, that triangle is meant to kind of show you what is it that is bringing the most results for you, and how can you prioritize your day to do more of that, and as much as possible, less to none of this. And then, how can we delete the bottom stuff? Because most of it, when you delete it, your life gets better, if not. And so, it's really a way of getting your time back and really working on your business for half of the time, because you're now focused on the 20% that bring all the results. And if
Mm-hmm.
you feel okay with like not doing the 80% that barely do anything for you. And so for people who have a time problem or who work too much in their business, I love for them to do that exercise, because it's the awakening of, oh my God, I could save 5 hours every day and still get results.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's a lot of people promising results without like an explanation for the results, I like to teach that lesson fast, because when I say in working less hours, I actually mean it, because there's a process for it. And it's a place I like to start, because when we free your time, now we can do some stuff. Now we can really do what you love and we can get results with that. So the necessary evil are the things you do every day, which you think you should do or which you don't enjoy too much, but you're like, yeah, I have to do it. It's a necessary evil.
Can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Dr.
No,
Pamela.
you go ahead.
I was going to just um one thing in the journey and some of the work I do is integrating time and energy management.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what happens is oftentimes the things that we're doing that are necessary evils or we're not inspired by is also depleting us energetically. So I always
Mm-hmm.
say like I've done like energy management workshops for leaders, and I'm like, imagine like we're on this call and more than likely we're going to be energized. It's the same hour of time. We're probably going to come off of this energized. Like I had a call with Prima, I'm like energized, ready to go. So I've actually increased my energy and my ability to execute even longer if I decided to. However, you could be on another call and it'd be very draining, whether it's the people in the room or the stuff you're working on, right? Which actually is a major depletion. So even if you have time, the way you utilize that time is much more difficult because you're already drained. So your optimization is also decreased. So I just wanted to add that because I think what you're saying, Prima, is so powerful. And if you add the things you're doing, how much they drain you or energize
Mm-hmm.
you, you can also start to hack yourself, your system to be like, okay, I have to do this thing that is totally depleting, but I'm going to connect it with something that's highly energizing, and then I'm actually going to get a more optimal result. So
I
that's
like
just
that.
something to consider. And that's like it's something I work through if I know I have a long day, but like chiming someone with like Prima, literally biologically, it shifts your energy.
Yes.
So it's just something to I wanted to just add in addition to that a lot of times we aren't taught about in our process of managing our time and our energy because we're energy beings first. Time
I
is
Mhm.
really love that.
time we can't control. What we can control is energy.
I love that. I was with Kath on the call, a client of mine, and we realized that she was spending so much time doing things that she could have not done. Like she was
Hmm.
spending so much cooking every day, and she loves some bit of cooking, but not all the time. And
Exactly.
literally, she could take back 2 hours a day just from ordering out on the days when she doesn't feel like cooking.
Yep, exactly. That's actually what
And
I did today. Like, but again,
yeah,
and to add to that, it's time and energy, right? Because if I'm spending the time in the cooking and I get to a level in which it's no longer satisfying me, then my depletion levels go down. It's just like a phone. If I have all my
yeah,
apps open, they're working well, but if they're all running in the background, my phone is going to drain significantly, right?
yeah.
We're the same way. So if I have all these things open, even if I like doing them, but they're exerting more energy, then I'm actually going to be more depleted. If I'm talking to five people that are very draining on me in general, you will naturally be more depleted.
Mhm.
So I think that's the part too of just being mindful, like going through the exercise. Because there's times I even do stuff now because I love it. I am way more productive because I have joy in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Follow the joy, follow the peace, and
Follow the
whatever.
joy. Look at your
Yeah.
energy. I always say, look at yourself like your phone. Like, is that
Mm-hmm.
bad boy getting filled up or is it draining or you got a cup, your cup of coffee? Like, are you, as you extend out, is there something filling you back up? Or you get to the end of the day and you're totally empty? That's a problem.
I
Yeah, and
like
I
to, yeah,
I love
Dr.
that.
Palm going. Mm.
I heard somebody recently talk about the crack in their cup, and they're trying to
Mm.
fill their cup, but the cup
Hmm.
has a crack in it, so it never
Yep.
gets filled. So you
Yep.
need to address the crack. And
Yes.
I thought that was good. But what I wanted to say before was I connected with one of my sorority sisters who just started a business. And so she is doing event planning and do building websites and helping small business owners with different tasks. And
Mhm.
so I told her about Prima's pyramid, heaven, necessary evil, and hell. And so I was talking about trying to determine what all is in the hell category, and that's what I want to give to somebody to do. And so she told me, what I want people to give me their hell, give me all of that stuff, and I can do it. And then she told me she will do it for me for free because right now
Mm.
I don't have any revenue. And so she's already started yesterday. I needed to get the QR code. I made a flyer. I need to get the QR code on it and set up my landing page on my website. And she did all that for me yesterday. It would have taken me 25 hours. And she just
Yeah.
got it done during her workday. Yes.
I love that.
And
For me, the health things, really what I focus on is how can I not, like I even ask the question, does this thing have to be done at all?
mhm,
And the answer for me sometimes is more like, not really. And so I delete it.
mhm.
I only
Okay.
think about things when I go to the necessary evil. I go, this thing has to be done. Does it have to be done by me? They, or is it someone's heaven?
Mhm.
And really, that's it. And every day, I optimize my day to do the things that bring me joy and peace in my heaven if I can. I'm optimizing for that. One of those things for me is clients. I am
Yeah.
very sensitive to clients, and if I sense that I'm attracting people who are draining of energy, I just like shift. I like target another person. And so who you decide to work with is also a big part of your energy and how it gets depleted. And while we want the clients, for me, I'm very sensitive with the quality of my time with the clients. So clients who I have to push, then I have to remind, then I have to inspire and motivate. I don't sign them. I want people who are self-led. They want what they want. They know what they want, and they believe they deserve that. When I see those people, I want to help them. When I see somebody that is still in a place where they need motivation, inspiration, that's very draining for me because I don't have that depth to go there. And so I really avoid doing like close work with the people. So it's one of the things also that I am very, very sensitive about. And it really helps me enjoy what I do because I don't sign anyone that energetically doesn't feel right. So it may be something you consider as well. And it may not be practical when you want everyone to sign, but at what level do you want them to sign? You know, some people are better served on the outside, not in the inner circle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, Nicole, what you have about like clients and energy and training of, something like that. I don't know what your experience is with that.
Yeah, I would say, given I think it's when we think about the inner circle, I think a lot of it had to do with the inner circle work of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and then like really tapping into what you were saying of like what I'm here to do and who I'm here to serve, and then how do I create the capacity and capability to do that. So, and honoring that, because that's what I'm hearing from you is like honoring your lane, right? And like your alignment and sticking to that. And so for me, that was something I had to get clear on. And particularly because I work with a lot of individuals who are going through a lot of grief or trauma or not having other outlets, I have to be mindful of how many people I do connect with that I can hold. It's like the cup you were talking about, Dr. Pamela, like how much I can actually hold space with how many people based on that. So
Yeah.
mine has been a lot of working through that. And then the other piece is I still need the commitment and I need the part of recognizing that I can observe when you may not be in a place to move forward, but you are okay with me nudging you. So similar where you're saying like I will take the person who still needs the inspiration, the motivation, and still might be kind of low in their energy and where they see. However, they still have to be committed. So that is the thing that I've learned about my core value set. If I can't nudge you or we can't talk about where the challenges are to move you forward while also holding space, then you're not my person because you haven't gotten to the level of commitment that's necessary to work through it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been something I've identified because I know Dr. Pamela, you also work with, and I think you're in the grief space as well, right? And you're working with
Yes.
individuals that are, I mean, that's just a different type of energy, a different type of feeling. That's what I will say though, that I had to learn with myself because I was an over giver and an over caretaker and the right pour. Again, the cup, that's why I know like the energy work. I was like, hold on, my cup is totally empty and I haven't held anybody accountable to helping me fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
So my clients, one of the big things, especially me going through my trauma informed training, a big thing around trauma informed work is co-creationship, right? That's how we build safety. So I had to learn to communicate that I am not in the authoritative space. We are co-creating the experience, which means I may have to hold you more accountable to pull, but we are working through this thing together. And that's helped a lot because I've set greater expectations of how we work together as well. And I think Prima, particularly, especially in the healing work, I think many of us on that side, it's a good opportunity to actually think about what that looks like because it's very easy to get into the over giving, the over caring, the creating dependency, even sometimes codependency because of the nature of the work. So I know
Yeah.
that was a little bit long-winded, but I think I had to look inside myself of the things that I was not taking care of myself, and then what were the expectations that I was creating to be able to ensure that I'm aligning to the right clients.
No, I like it. I think being in Jesus, I call it being in Jesus mode, savior mode, right?
Yeah. And it's very, I will say again, what I've observed, um, it can be very easy to get into that. And I also share that's why I had to do the inner work, because as I healed myself, I was more aware not only how I was doing it, but also how that was projecting onto my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's a big thing. And then all of us are a little bit different in our energy. I'm naturally a high energy person. Like I just naturally have a lot of energy. So I have to be very mindful though of checking in where I'm actually depleted, because I could lose sight of the fact that I actually need to rest. Like I know I need to rest this weekend because I consciously I haven't been keeping that in mind. But that's just another thing, checking in with yourself so you can kind of see where your energy is after each client. So I did quite a bit of that when I first started, like checking in and seeing the difference in my body and how I felt to help me better discern what that looked like.
But it never stops, right? You're
It
helping
never stops.
people,
The journey,
and
it
then
never stops.
you're over there doing your own stuff, and then now you
Yep.
have to come back and help somebody else. But
Yep.
I don't know, I love it. It's
Yep.
great. Did any of you guys have anything in particular that you would love to talk through?
Um, hmm, I'm trying to think of what I want to talk through. Okay. I have something. When
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with you before, Prima, we were talking about a plan, and so I have your plan in mind as I'm doing my workshop on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because one of the things I struggle with, Nicole, is the financial part, getting people to pay me because I'm such a natural giver. And I've done it all my life. I've always been the one everybody comes to for advice. They cry on my shoulder, all that. And so I can just do that with anybody. I can coach anybody anytime. And so being so focused on the money really kind of took me away from my alignment. And so now when I talked to Prima and we started talking about um hand holding, if
Mm-hmm.
they when I give them my 5 steps and they could do it on their own, or
Mm-hmm.
if they need some hand holding, I'm here for that. And then I will get their information, we'll get on a call, and then we can talk about me becoming their coach. And I am going to do that. I have 5 spaces, and we're going to start in January. So that's my plan. I'm going to go with what you recommended to me, Prima, because that's very comfortable in my spirit. Now I
Mm.
want to do more. I'm like, well, what if I get 10? I'm like, no, that's my problem. Don't overdo it. And so I'll be ready in January to get started with my clients, but I will have them to pay me now in this year. And so I will have some revenue for this year. That's what I am planning to do.
I like that for you, but also if you want more clients, you can get more clients. I just thought
Mm,
the 5 were good because you have a surgery and you don't know your capacity after that. But if you
mhm,
want more, you can get more. What I do feel though is like you have this thing about give, 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 and I don't want to take. It's like you have this thing in you as I'm receiving it all the time when I speak to you that taking people's money is like as if you're taking something from them. It's like when people pay you, you see it as taking. And that
mm,
may be something we have to walk through at some point, but it might help to begin really seeing what you do as something that people really need and appreciate, And the money is an exchange of that secret service. When people give you money, they're saying, I am committed to this goal. I am with you. I'm meeting you halfway, and I believe you can help me. So take this money in exchange for your commitment in me. When people don't pay you, you might try to help them, but you can only go so far. And so one of the things we might have to work through is really like the comfort and even joy of receiving money and more money and a lot of money from your clients, because they meet you halfway with their money. And more money means more commitment. And so really seeing yourself as a vessel of transformation and having people pay you, because that gets them more invested and you can help them better reach wherever they're going. I would love for us to maybe at some point work through that piece. I'm not trying to do any energy work until like 7th December, because I'm going through like some deep stuff with that, and I don't want to try to do it prematurely, but a lot of it is releasing yourself and getting a new relationship with asking for money and getting a new relationship with what your work does for people. I had this very problem, and I noticed that I took a client from 0 to 6 figures in 5 months. She bought a new car, bought new apartments, took her mom on a very fancy vacation. But what she said to me is, these skills which you've given me are easily 10 million in my lifetime. And I was undercharging, and that was my time to wake up. Like, wow. So whether she works with me or doesn't, what she's received is worth 10 million to her. And we can look at ourselves and say it's 1 minute or 30 minutes or whatever it is, but the truth is that the work we do with clients stay with them forever. And so the value of your work goes past your sessions and past your coaching sessions, because sometimes you plant the seeds now and they germinate when they are no longer working with you. And so giving yourself permission to take the money and giving yourself permission to increase your capacity so you can take more as you get people more results. I feel it's something that we may need to work through for you so that you feel the comfort to ask for money, because people are already resistant as it is to give us money. If we ask for the money with a hidden regret, it becomes awkward for even them to make the commitment, because sometimes they use our confidence to make the decision. Does that help?
Yes, it does help.
And so we have to work
dead on. I mean, spot on with what I'm going through.
Yeah, you have to walk the money, whatever it is that is installed in your system, to be at a point where you're deserving of the money, because you are really giving people a gift that will alter their life, and allowing yourself to receive in abundance of that. And that is one of the reasons why people won't sign, because internally you feel like maybe you don't deserve to charge more, or to charge enough, or to charge at all. That is confusing for someone who wants to pay you, because sometimes they need help as well to go through whatever is blocking them from making the investment. And so when you don't do the work yourself, it becomes harder to get payment from clients, because clients need to feel that certainty, that place of peace to write the check or whatever it is they have to do. And when you haven't done your stuff, people feel awkward. They feel like a nerve. They feel like angst around paying you. And most people don't make sales because they can't get past that point of, need to think about it, need to speak to my spouse, need to do this, because they feel the angst of making the decision. And so a part of this is really getting comfortable with going over your own hurdles so you can help people find the peace so they can decide whether that's to hire you, or not hire you is irrelevant, but helping people get to the place of peace, of making a decision that is aligned to what they want without allowing their blocks to keep them small, if it makes sense, because they will. So that's the work I'll probably be doing more of in Jan. I don't want to do it now because I feel like I'm still practicing it and I'm not yet like there where I want to be with it.
Okay. But
Yeah,
this
but
work is very helpful already.
Can I
yeah,
offer
yeah,
something to add?
yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, for sure.
Um, and Dr. Pamela, you can tell me if I'm off. I sense that there is an opportunity to shift the money from the service. So what I mean is that, and my heart is racing, so yeah, excuse me. Every like soon as I came on the call with you, I feel this very like I got mama energy, like the comforter, everyone comes, you hold them. I feel like this very nurturing spirit. And sometimes when that is the natural spirit, there can be a conflict of saying you should be paid for something that you feel has been divinely given to you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I have sensed and felt, even in my own journey, is recognizing that I have to separate the external material role of how people get paid with money and recognizing that you have a gift to serve and feed. And as a result of you being compensated, it is a representation of the gift that's been given to you for it to be amplified into the world. So when you shift it from that perspective, the only way that you can amplify, the only way that you can serve more, the only way that you can really hit the masses based on your heart's desire of what you know has been given to you is to be compensated for that and then show others that being in their divine alignment and doing what they are of service will allow them to have the life that the material people are not doing that creates the conflict. So that is part of what I sense as an opportunity is to look at the service. Your service is worthy of being compensated because it's a gift. No different than someone who has a gift of singing or whatever the case is, but it's less about people giving you the money and you actually recognizing that it is to be compensated because you are in the service of what you're supposed to be doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're being fed through those people based on whether it's whatever your faith is, God, the universe, whatever, that is a gift for you because you are of service. So I don't know if that like sometimes when I get thoughts, they don't always come as clear, but like I just sense a separation from the actual giving the money, the transaction of giving the money versus like I hear like, yay, well done. Like you're being compensated, filled, you're showing others that being in service, that is the gift. It's like a gift to you for being in service versus a transaction of getting money because you're worthy or valuable of it.
Okay.
So again, sometimes with the way I get stuff, it doesn't come out really clear, but maybe like when we talk, it'll
Mm-hmm.
make I'll have like better language. But the reason why I say that is because I have gone through the journey of seeing a lot of service oriented, like very much in the healing space, feeling shameful or guilty to be compensated at the same level of, say, a business coach or a scaling coach, because there's been this stigma around having the gift that should just be free, or we
Mm-hmm.
come from a culture of the mama, that everybody comes around, or the auntie or the elder, and that was just service to be given for free, not to be
Mm-hmm.
compensated for. So that's more of what I'm referring to, of recognizing that just because you did it for free in that way doesn't mean there's not a part of that for you to be compensated for with people who really need your help long term, to similar to what Prima was saying, because then that's a different level of commitment and
Mm-hmm.
expectation from both of you in helping them versus the role that you still may play of someone walking up in the grocery store and you giving them, a message that amplifies their life and you never see them again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I get what she's saying, because it's God saying, I see you, thank you for being obedient and for stepping into your gifts. And I want to give you a comfortable living because of that. I want this money to represent your obedience to my gift.
Yes,
and
thank
you
you.
can
I
take
could
the
not
money
translate.
and you can use it for whatever you want. You can contribute to charity. You can feed street kids. You can, it's really like when I help people with their message, I sit back and look at them, and often they just become another person. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to start charging 6 figures for this stuff. Because I look at clients and I'm like, what happened to that person? I have seen clients come from like zero. They didn't know their message. They were all over the place. And I was like, okay, let's do this. They went off and created something. And even I was fascinated. Like I followed them, stalked them. I'm like, what is she doing? How is she getting all of that? And I have in time learned to appreciate my gift and what it can give for people, and unapologetically giving myself permission to get compensated for it. Whereas the same person, if I gave it to them for free, they wouldn't have as much of a transformation. And so it really helps when people can pay you. But if you don't deal with those things, it becomes really hard for the transaction to happen or the exchange of the funds, because a part of you feels like you're doing something wrong, or you should do this thing for free. Because when you do it for free, you get the same satisfaction. So you're like, yeah, but like, why should I charge? Or why should I charge more? Or why should I charge that much? But really, it's an energy. It's a secret exchange. And it's whoever you believe in is saying, for being obedient, for taking the path less traveled, I would love to reward you for being like a contribution to the world. And so money is a whole other chapter altogether, but I hope that that really helps you, because I feel like a part of that conversion is your confidence in knowing that you're going to help people transform their life by making that transaction if it's the right fit for them, or by not making it if it's not aligned, but allowing people to get to that decision from a place of peace. Because most people will say, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about this thing with my husband, my spouse, whatever. But really, the actual problem is they're scared. And so they go back and they find a reason why they can't move forward. And they just stay in that place. Like for me, I see them, I'm like, you're really staying at best kept secret for too long, and I need to take this money, so I help you. And so if I can on the call, I help them resolve that, so they get to a place of peace where they go, it was the fear, I want to do it, or they go, I really don't want to do it because I don't feel it's aligned right now. And that's okay. But at least we've gotten them to a place of decision, because a lot of people will just contract themselves back and they will stay a secret forever. And for me to think that I had the opportunity to help this person and I didn't, it just haunts me as a person. Because people will just sit in their own way and not make the decision. And so pressure-free enrollment is that course that helps you, it's that training that helps you understand how to get people to find the peace so they make the decision once you're still on the call. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but most times it does. And people process and they're like, wow, tell me about whatever the offer is, And they're like, I feel like, whew, I found the peace. I'm ready. Or they go like, yeah, it's just not a fit right now. And that's fine. But you want them to make a decision, because most people never make a decision. Right. And when people start telling you they want to think about it, they want to speak to their spouse, really the truth is, most of that is not entirely true. Like some angst, some fear, some uncertainty. They want to go, but they don't want to go. And now you really have to resolve your own issues to be able to help them pass the hurdle. Mm-hmm. In the mentality and service of like loving them and wanting to help them go to the other side, and the more you deal with like internal issues, the more people have these internal issues. Mm-hmm. The more your work is internally connected to things, the more issues people have. And so you really have to kind of find a way to be in service of people and help them release whatever it is that tends to keep them contracted so they can move to the other side where you want to take them. Yeah, but it takes one step at a time. Sometimes just take your time, move at your pace, Some of the things I have walked through because of even not the process of working through them, but just knowing them. Like just knowing that this thing is happening for you. I remember at one time I was trying to make money and I wasn't. And I was like, what's wrong? And what I came to understand is that I didn't have the container to hold the money that I was trying to make. My bank accounts couldn't take certain amount of money. I hadn't paid my taxes and I had like leaks and leaks of money. And so money didn't come in because I didn't have a space for it. Mm-hmm. And I was working and working and working and things were not working until I was like, okay, I have some leaks here. Had to sort that, and suddenly money started flowing in. And I did nothing other than like just getting an awareness of, you don't really have the capacity for the money you're asking for. So yeah, there's bits and pieces there, a lot maybe to process, but I hope any of that. Is that helping?
Yeah, it really is helping because I really should be focusing on the gift that I'm sharing with people, because I know it's a gift, because I know I can relate to anybody on any level. I used to work with homeless families for 10 years in the school district, and the things that we were able to accomplish as I was working with my families, it was just amazing. And so some of those parents have now come back to me, and one in particular has become a leader in the community. And we met up and she said, I know everybody. I can help you. Let me help you, Dr. Pam. And I'm like, okay. And this was a mom who was in hiding because her husband was trying to find her to kill her. And so now she has a wonderful life, And so I'm seeing those kinds of results from what I've been doing with my life. It was my job with the school district to work with the homeless families, but it was a ministry for me to pour into these women, and mostly there were some men, but mostly women. And God made a way where I could even purchase religious material, like by Christine Kane and some other. I was able to purchase materials for them, and a chaplain came and helped me with their. We met twice a month, and she helped me to minister to those women. So it's been good. And I know that I have that gift. That's what I enjoy doing. And so the business part of it is what I hadn't been able to reconcile with. But you're helping me with that as I see that God is pleased with my service. And because of it, now he's giving this money to me, and so I receive it. I receive it, Lord.
Amazing. I'll tell you one story that changed the way I look at things. There was one lady who had a beautiful, beautiful message, and her work was something to do with marriages and all of those things. And somehow I couldn't get her to share her message. She kept having excuses, and I don't have the money, and da, da, da. And she kept coming back, and I was like, okay. At one point, I decided I didn't want to sell to her. And I think like 2 years passed. She died.
Oh, wow.
And she was like within my country, and I went to bury her, and I was just drowning in regret because she died without the book that she wanted to write. She wanted to write a book and she wanted to help people, and I just couldn't help her cross the bridge. And on her, like when she died, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this again. I'm not seeing another person die with a book inside them. And that was it. I was activated, done, gone. But I sat on that funeral and I was just drowning in regret. Like, why didn't I help her? Why didn't I help her get over that hurdle of payment? Why didn't I get her to write the book, you know? And so you get activated slowly by slowly as like your creator really sees what's happening for you. You may get some points of activation which are like sent to force you to activate. That was mine. And since that time, I had to understand how to get people over the hurdle of giving me money. Like, I want to think about it. I want to speak in my cart. I'm like, okay. I didn't know what to do with that. I don't like pressure selling. And so I would say, okay, take all the time you need. And they would come back with, I can't do it because. And I just didn't know how to go past that point. I kept saying, no. That woman died. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I need to figure this thing out. Mm-hmm. That is when I started to understand like how to help people release the angst, the fear, whatever the hurdle is when it comes to paying, and helping people really get out of their own fear into a place of peace so they can decide. And then I help them. And now I am feeling better because now they are going to build their brand, and you know, one day it will be their last day and there will be something about them. And so that was for me it. Like I wasn't going to see another person dying with their knowledge inside them. And I can try all I want. It's never leaving me. It's just my obsession. I want to see people go out in the world, get clear on their message, and share that for whatever their breakthrough the world looks like. It's fun. So I just wanted to share that because that's what can happen when you don't help people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to work with the widows in my community. And I, because I am a widow and so many of them know me and they knew my husband and how we worked together in the community. We did youth ministry together and you know, and so when he died, everybody felt bad. And so now they see me living and they're so inspired because I'm not sad, down and out, I'm living. And so I am a model of where I want to take them. I want to pour into them, serve them so they can live like this too.
I love it. I love it, and get better and resolve everything so they can look at you and go, wow, you know, you helped us do this. I see Nicole's hand is up. I would love for you to come through, Nicole. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to be, so thank you so much for sharing. And I was just an acknowledgement. I appreciate just the space to reflect even in my own life of the opportunity. So I just thank you, Dr. Pam and Prima, for what you shared. Before we close, I did want to share, Prima, that I didn't necessarily have a question. It was more of just already a shift in perspective from our conversation earlier about my messaging or marketing. I just wanted to share with you because I like to take action very quickly. So what I realized about, I'm looking like on my website really quick, is I actually changed it to I help change makers and positive disruptors transform loss into strength and live boldly, fulfilling lives. So my thing was trying to really connect the two that we talked about because Dr. Pam, particularly for me, I lost my mom. My mom became I say my mom's death became my rebirth and why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. And one of the challenges that Prima's helped me through is I think so broad that sometimes I don't want to focus on one narrow area. And what I realized though is it is the piece around taking the loss and strength that then does connect to the fulfilling life, whether that's internally or the change you want to make in the world. So I feel really, really good with that because it feels very aligned. It feels very aligned also to who I am. And so my next step is whether it's the journal prompts or something. I'm actually going to work on building something that aligns to that purposeful living, right, after loss, or life after loss plan or something like that, that I feel really, really good about. So I just wanted to share with you that I am taking that. I took that feedback. I find something that I feel very good in anchoring. I also shortened my description of who I was on my page to just basically say I've been through a loss, lost my mom. This is what I do now, and this is how I can help. I even courageously took off all the logos of like my certifications, because at the end of the day, I'm actually going to move it to my, if you want to know more about me. But at the end of the day, I am so comfortable in my authority of what I do that I realized that that was a bit of masking to try to influence that I was worthy of you working with me. And I feel as someone who is also like how I would be, I'd actually question that, because the people I've worked with, it's based on me feeling comfortable in their authority. I never really went to check all their certifications, right? And then I look at the people who have worked with me, that has not been it. I mean, it's been cute and curiosity, right? Like every now and then someone like, oh, you did that, you have Reiki or whatever, but like that wasn't the selling point. Right. So you helped me get out of my own way of some things that I was also using to try to influence, versus being very clean and crisp and recognizing that that will come through. And then people's curiosity of all the different things in my bag, how I use them, is basically been part of the conversation. So the next action I do have though is on my site of like why work with me. I still want to do that to actually just pull out the things we talked about, what makes me different, right? The mind, body, soul, holistic integration, and the strategic part. So I just wanted to share that I was very grateful, and I am like off to the races, and I know I'm going to have a plan. I know it's going to make a significant difference in the next month and a half of where my business is going to go.
Whew,
And I did
I
that
have
in
chills for you. Oh
minutes.
my God. Dr. Pam, how convincing was that? Like I was like, okay, sign me up. Where's the link? Where's the link?
Mhm.
I love this
So
for you. I love this for you, Nicole. I do.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr.
Yeah.
Pamela, just to share with you too, like where, as I mentioned, like mine is the part of the transition, kind of the purpose piece of my story. And so I would love when we talk, I think that's where we can support each other of how I have positioned myself from that perspective that is made the comfort level of paying when people are truly in that committed phase. The part that I'm going to work on prima though is I do typically let people get off a call and think about it. What I need to do is think about what part of me helps lean into some portion of payment or some commitment of some sort, right? That we can follow up. But as far as my comfort level of like, this is what I offer, this is what I do, I've gotten to that part, Dr. Pam, so I can help you just share my story, how I got to that comfort level. But part of what I just
That's
shared
beautiful.
earlier was literally like, if God took me out of my multi six figure career, had me go through all of this, lose my mom to come into this, and I'm a living testament of what that, like you say, the joy, the happiness, the living for fully, then I deserve and worthy of seeing the full picture of that, so people have faith and hope is possible. Like I've literally had people who worked with me in corporate and say it is so inspiring to see someone have that kind of joy and be liberated in how they live, right? And
Hmm.
I think that's the part that we forget, like you say, we're literally a model of what it is of living in alignment. And so the only way I can keep doing that is if I can pay my bills, if I can continue to do other things, if I can be philanthropic, if I can give some things away pro bono because I'm making a certain amount of money that it's not a stretch between them.
Hmm.
So I feel you and I feel like I'm like on this other side, but anyway, I can just share like some of my learnings of getting that comfort and confidence. I'm very I'm willing to give you whatever I have that would support.
Okay. Thank
So,
you.
I love how she weaved in the purpose piece, because Pamela has a purpose piece, but she's been not so clear how to weave it in. Because the first thing the woman needs is they need to go over the grief, but after the grief, then we drop into the purpose. Because grief
Yes.
alone, people may pay, but how much are they willing to pay for that phase? So it's more like how
Yes.
to turn your loss into your purpose or
Yes.
into something
Yep.
Yes.
really powerful. I feel like
Yes.
that's the point at which we can now
Oh,
flip into high
yes.
ticket and help people.
So what I
Mhm.
had is I had
Yeah.
a subject, a subheading that I took off, and it might be a line for you, Dr. Pam, and it's actually part of my trailer in my podcast, but it's going from tragedy to triumph or something
Mhm.
that helps, or like from that to like your purpose or your next level of life or your next chapter of life, and like your life's not over, it's just beginning. Something of that I think will help people, because to your point, it's not just getting through the grief, it's like what's going to happen. Is it
Mm-hmm.
writing the
Yeah.
next book? Is it doing the next thing?
Yes.
Is it traveling the world? So maybe even considering the people that you want to work with, like, are they somewhat like you? Do they want to be coaches? Do they want to be writers? Do they, like, whatever that might be, might give you something to anchor in. So that's why mine are change makers and positive disruptors, because they want to make a change in the world. And the only way they can really live into that is if they heal their trauma and their grief and they really know who they are, but they have the courage to live into it. And that's my story. So perhaps looking at your part of the story and what the thing on the other side that they're going to get that they really, really want. And that's what Prima's really helped me start to. I'm very good at articulating it when I'm talking with someone. The challenge I have is representing it effectively on a page when nobody has a conversation with me. And that's what Prima is
Oh,
helping me with. Yeah.
that's a really good point. I'm like that too. What
Yeah.
I have been using is what's my next. So that was I was doing a series of workshops on, what's my next? Retired, now what?
hmm
I'm a widow, now what? So
Yep. So perhaps on the other side is like, what is the what though? Right? Like,
yeah.
so, and that's where like I used to get caught up, but I'm like, if I know change major positive disruptors, I know on the other side is because they actually want to make the impact in the world. The only way they can do that is feel good in themselves so that they can
Hmm.
actually do it. And that was my story. Like, the more clear and confident I got in my divine assignment, the more courage I had to show up and the more that I'm seeing the tangible things occur. So I think that's what helps people because they don't know what the next is. So it's almost like I think of like a hotel where they show you, like, you don't know what the pool, they show you the pool. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
don't know what the resort looks like. That's why they have all the pictures. So I'm wondering if you help them actually crystallize some of those thoughts. Maybe it is saying you might want to like write the book. You might want to travel the world. You might want to become a coach. You might like that might spark people to actually think about the possibilities that they weren't even considering.
Hmm. Okay.
I
And
like
I have a
that.
process that I go through with my clients to discover, for them to uncover what it is, to uncover their what it is
Mm,
that they want to do. And so I need to keep working on that and not give up on it because it has worked with my clients. It's just I got hung up and then I've been sick most of the year,
mm.
and so I'm coming out of it now. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
I've
this
been
is
I've been so blessed to have this conversation. I actually like the mastermind type fashion as well, if it helps more people. What has been helpful for me is not being the only person talking, because I believe that there's a lot of gifted people in my community, and I don't like being the only person talking because it's people that have like amazing, intelligent ideas, gifts that the community can use. And so this was that call that is like my dream call where people come and they're releasing energy and they don't know who's doing what. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So that was my best part of this call. I'd love to know for each of you what was most helpful about this call, because I'd love to do more of those things.
Well, it was really helpful for me to be able to tell you what I've gained so far from being
Mm.
associated with you. And then it was really good for me to hear you answer my questions, and really good to hear from Nicole because what you sensed about us working together, I feel it too, because
Mm.
we are, kind of on the same, I don't want to say page, but we have a connection. and the interest in the same thing. And, our alignment is aligned already, I feel. So
Divine
this is good.
connections. Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Nicole, was anything like most helpful for you? If you can
Of
start.
course. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, what I really appreciate too is I think even this smaller setting, it was the being able to absorb the wisdom that was being imparted and looking at the part that I also need to look at myself and automatically being able to find adjustments I can make. And I think because like Dr. Pam and I have similar interests, right? Like desires, and then Prima also just already worked with you. I think that's what helped as well. So Dr. Pam had worked with you, I had worked with you, so I felt like there was a lot of synergy in our abilities to like think through things, but also find very tangible, actionable things that we could all do. Was super, super helpful because that's something for me is like it's the whole reciprocity. We were giving and receiving, and that's that energy, right? Like I feel like I'm filled up. I'm excited to take action. I've been inspired, Dr. Pam, which is some of the things you said as well, and so that's what's really helpful for me. And I just think it's just divine. I call it the God winks that Dr. Pam and I were looking to connect, and God made it where we connected early, that we've already created this relationship. So when we do meet,
Mhm.
it's a whole different kind of conversation, you know?
Yes.
I'm grateful for that too, Prima. And I would just say I'm grateful for the space that you hold. I'm grateful for your gifts and wisdom, and I'm grateful for the way that you lead and facilitate that fosters all of us to be in our own agency and to be empowered to create whatever it is we desire. And so every time I have the opportunity to connect with you, it is another um, gratitude moment for that because a lot of people who have your skill set, talents, and gifts don't necessarily hold spaces in that way. Like I always feel empowered to own my path every time I talk with you.
Mhm.
Like I never feel like you're telling me something and I have to execute it. I always feel that I'm owning it and you're just
Mm.
helping activate more so I can get there faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies. It's
So,
been an honor. If you're watching on the replay, would like to invite you into the container. I just sit here for an hour. Usually I have like a call coming in at top of the hour. We do as much as we can for whoever is in the room. I never have an agenda. I mate when we become more people than I can accommodate, but I appreciate each and every one of you that shows up and allows me to speak into your business and into your mission, because I know that you're all change makers, you're all really market disruptors, you're all really powerful people in your own schemes. And so to hold this space, I feel very honored and I don't take it for granted. And I almost feel like I don't deserve it to some point. So my inner work has to come in and say, okay, Prima, you
Yes.
deserve this. You
you
deserve
gotta
this.
take your own medicine, sis. You gotta drink your own Kool-Aid.
Sometimes I feel like I am so honored and blessed to be working with people that are so powerful. And I do not know what will come of Best Kept Secret, but I know it's going to be really, really amazing. And so I appreciate you all, sending you my love, and I hope to see you on another call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.